Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Laura. Over here I share lock content with you. I also recently started a small business, so in today's video I'm going to be talking about some things that I've learned right along my journey. If you're new around here, I recently started an e-commerce hair care brand called FAIDA Naturals. We cater to individuals who rock their hair naturally, whether it's in locks, whether it's in a protective style or loosely natural. Our products aim to provide you with 100% moisture and to prevent your hair from breaking. So let's dive right into this video. I've been running this business since a little bit after the day after Thanksgiving last year, so very new in this. Or the person who's likely to watch these videos is either you're considering starting a small business, you're very brand new in your small business journey. What I'm hoping to do as I share these different videos, and I'm titling them Small Business Diaries, is to give you a very authentic view of what it's like to run a small business. And specifically, I'm also working a 9-to-5 currently, and I also balance other responsibilities. So I think if you are balancing different things or trying to figure out how to balance a 9-to-5 and running a business, these videos would be very helpful for you, because we know most of the content that's out there right now is content for individuals who are running a small business full time. So I'm going to share with you the raw details, the pitfalls, the success points, so that we can all learn together. I'm not an expert by any means, but whatever I do learn, I'm coming on this platform to share, because this is, again, similar with my lock journey, content that I look for before I started my small business. So let's dive into these different things. The first thing that I want to talk about is you have to love what you do when you start your small business or whatever it is that you're doing. And this could apply to a product-based business or service-based business. So prior to me launching my business, I loved hair care. I lived, breathed everything natural hair care. I was a loose natural at one point. I'm locked right now, been locked for a little bit over 2 years. So I've experimented with different products. Now, what led me to start this particular business is I actually found ingredients that worked. I started studying the different ingredients that are in the industry, the ingredients that are in a lot of the products that we use. One of the big things that actually shocked me when I came to find out this statistic was the fact that a large percentage of beauty products marketed to women of color are not produced by women of color. You would think that somebody who's creating these products should have an experience, should know what it's like to have natural hair, should know the things that work well, the things that don't work well, the pain points of having natural hair. But no, unfortunately, that's not it. Now, over the last few years, we've seen an emergence of women of color who are coming up, who are creating these brands, and I love it. I love to see it. What gives me room in this particular space is my focus is on a minimal approach to hair care, because we're giving up being product junkies. We can't have a bunch of products laying around anymore. And number two, really being attentive to the ingredients that are used in the products. I really enjoy studying about what different ingredients do, not just on the negative side, but also on the positive side. Like, what are clean ingredients, natural ingredients? And I'm using that term loosely. I understand everything is essentially a chemical based on its makeup, but you know what I'm trying to get at when it comes to the purpose of this video. At many points, I'd have a mini chem lab in my home. I'd have different oils, I'd have different butters. I was testing things out. I was giving things to people to try out because I was just passionate about it. When I'd learn different things, I would share them with those who were around me. Now, fast forward, once I started finding things that actually worked, things that I found to be really good, I wanted to share that with the wider community. And I think my YouTube really opened up the doors for me to do this, to actually share this. So I'm not just selling products, I'm selling a different experience with hair care. So you have to love what you do. This thing is actually harder than what people make it seem. If you're passionate about it, you will enjoy every moment of it. A good way to tell if what you're doing is what you love, what you're passionate about, is by looking at if you were not getting paid for what you're doing, or if you were to offer that service for free, would you be equally as passionate as offering it? Because that'll tell you that when sales are low, when sales are not where you expect them to be, you will still continue to believe in whatever it is that you're doing. You will be passionate passionate about being of service to people. You want to make sure that your brand is not just for profit. If you're doing it for profit, at a certain point, you will get burnt out and tired. Most times when people are doing things that are surrounding profit, they hire a different company to take over their marketing and everything for them, which can be costly. But as you're starting out as a small business, your passion will show in whatever it is, and your passion is what will contribute to you increasing your sales. If you're considering starting your small business, or if you're on the fence right now, I would 100% say jump on it. The next thing is there's room for improvement. I've learned this along the way because I've changed so many different things. The way my website used to look when I originally started looks a lot different than what my website looks like right now. A lot of my marketing is starting to change. I started off using a lot of blacks, dark tones, but over the time I wanted it to really be reflective of the brand, moving towards the more muted colors, the lighter colors. I try to keep things pretty consistent, but you're constantly evolving and growing. As you learn more and as you gain more of a brand identity, you move towards that. I think one of the things that prevented me from starting is I wanted everything to be so perfect. As a person who's a recovering perfectionist and recovering type A, I wanted everything to be good, everything to be perfect, which is not a problem. It's actually a really good thing because you want to do things in excellence, which will be one of the points I'll talk about in a little bit later on. But in all honesty, just start. You're gonna have to have a starting point. You can also get caught up in information paralysis, or I think it's analysis paralysis. That's the word I'm looking for. This is where you consume so much content. Definitely was there. You will learn as you go on, and I promise you that it's not always an easy journey to go through, but if you're willing to learn, you will be a-okay. Be okay with having a beginning for everything. If you don't have a marketing background, which I don't, if you don't have a background in anything business related, which I don't, you're gonna be learning everything from scratch. Think about when you first start, if you're in school, things intensify as you keep going on, but you have to start in that English 101, or you have to start in that beginner class before you keep advancing on. And the same thing is with your business. So just start as a beginner and give yourself room for growth. Again, if you're looking at my website, what it looked like when we first launched versus now, and it's only been a few months after, it's changing, and I anticipate it continuing to evolve. You know, one of the big things that's really going to help you be successful on this journey is your ability to pivot and your ability to learn from your experiences. So instead of being afraid of failing or afraid of not doing something well, grow through that experience. And I'm going to give you some examples. I recently launched our Rosewater Hydrating Mist, and I love the bottles that I initially picked. However, those bottles did not ship well. I ordered labels from a different vendor. I was excited about them. They're different size, different material, but despite me checking to make sure they're weatherproof, they absorbed the liquid, which I did not care for. So I had to quickly change, find a different vendor for bottles, and then I had to order new labels and then have a new design. This was all in the span of a week. So if you're not in a position where you're ready to like quickly move and switch and pivot, it's going to be challenging. But if you're open-minded and willing to just dive in and make things happen, figure out solutions to problems, then you're in the right space. The next thing is learn to tell your brand story, or learn to communicate what your brand does. This is going to be key, not just for yourself, but when you come across people, when you're talking to people online, when you're marketing your product, you want to be clear on who you are, what you do, who you serve, and you want to be able to communicate the feel that comes with your particular product. I'm going to give you an example of what happened to me. So I joined this training. It was a virtual training, and it had to do with marketing. So I think I was the first or second person to introduce myself. So I'm like, hey, I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for providing this space. I'm looking forward to learning all there is to learn. And I thought I had a great introduction. It was short and sweet and straight to the point. Well, the rest of the people that went after me were introduced themselves. And this is what I'm hearing. My name is so-and-so. I have this brand. This is what we do. This is who we serve. This is where you can find us. This is what we aim to do. And I was even Googling some of the different brands that were mentioned because I was interested in what they had to say. I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. I have to look this up and see who they are. I did not do that. So one thing that's going to be really helpful for you, even if you're talking to your family, getting comfortable with communicating who you are, because this will show up also in your marketing. If you don't know who you're talking to and the feel you want them to have and what you want them to know, it's going to be really hard for you to effectively make social media posts. And I'm growing in this area. I think it's been the last month that I've really been refining who we are, the feel that we have. So for my particular brand, one of my strong values is minimalism. I'm an aspiring minimalist. I don't believe in having an excessive amount of things that you don't need. So in the brand, that follows along, because I want people to know that you don't have to use 100 different products to moisturize your hair. You can just use this one item. Another value of ours is simplicity. We use muted colors. I'm not going to be the brand that has your hot pink colors or your lime greens. It's going to be very toned down, muted, to reflect the idea that we want to use natural ingredients. So our colors will mimic the colors that you see in nature. Now, I mentioned that minimalism is something that's a value of mine. As you're putting things out to customers, you want to make sure that you're meeting their needs as well. So everything that you do should not only be good for you, and I'm going to talk about this in part 2. I have to make a part 2 of this video because otherwise it's going to be excessively long. But as you're marketing to your audience, you want to study them. And it's even better if you are your target audience because you have firsthand experience, but you never stop learning what challenges people are experiencing, and use that as data to improve your product and to improve how you market and pitch whatever it is that you're selling. The next thing that I want to talk about is striving for excellence. I cannot stress this enough. You want to double check and double check and double check everything that you do. A great way to figure out how well you're doing something or the quality of something is put yourself in the position of a customer. If you're to buy something from someone and receive it the way you've packaged it, will you have a great experience with opening it up? Many of us have ordered from places where your item is just thrown in the box, maybe with some bubble wrap, and it's just thrown there with your invoice, and that's it. That doesn't give you an experience. If you want to take people through an experience from when they're on your website to when they receive your item, your chances of converting sales are going to be higher. And then your chances of also communicating who you are, it gives you another opportunity to show that this is what we're about. I am very nitpicky when it comes to anything that I do. The Bible talks about the importance of desiring a good name. And I believe this also applies to small business. I'm very attentive that I look at every bottle, every label before I ship it out. I make sure that everything is straight. I wipe down all the things that are going out with rubbing alcohol to make sure that it's sanitized. I also check to make sure there aren't any smudges from other products. I want to make sure that the customer is having a 100% great experience. People pay attention to details. You might think that, oh, let me overlook the way this tape is laid, but it's very important that people see that you really took time and care into creating whatever it is that you do. You also want to stay consistent with how you're shipping out your packages. The way you package things, you want to make sure that it's similar. We can't control what happens in the midst of shipping because things always change, but that's also something else to keep in mind. Does your product ship well? Something that I did when I first started my business was I sent a package to myself to see how it would arrive, how it would be handled, because that told me, okay, add more padding here, do this, and we're improving with time too. So if you've ordered from us a second or third time, you'll notice that things are slowly starting to improve and look a little bit different. So those are the tips I have for part 1. I believe the video has been a little bit. Comment below some things that stood out to you. If you're new to your small business journey, what are some things that you're nervous about? Or if you've considered starting a business but haven't really, I'm interested in knowing what is stopping you. I definitely was in that place. If you like this video, if you found anything helpful, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. It helps people who are interested in content like this be able to see this content. If you're interested in more content related to small businesses or even locks, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching this video today, and I wish you all the success with your business. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.